Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 4, Book 54, number 469. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Apostle said, "The first batch of people who will enter paradise will be glittering like a full moon, and those who will enter next will be glittering like the brightest star. Their hearts will be as if the heart of a single man, for they will have no enmity amongst themselves, and every one of them shall have 2 wives, each of whom will be so beautiful, pure and transparent that the marrow of the bones of their legs will be seen through the flesh. They will be glorifying Allah in the morning and evening, and will never fall ill, and they will neither blow their noses, nor spit. Their utensils will be of gold and silver, and their combs will be of gold, and the fuel used in their centers will be the aloes wood, and their sweat will smell like musk." Volume 4, Book 54, number 470. Narrated by Sahl bin Sa'd. The Prophet said, "Verily, 70,000 or 700,000 of my followers will enter paradise altogether, so that the first and the last amongst them will enter at the same time, and their faces will be glittering like the bright full moon." Volume 4, Book 54, number 471. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. A silken cloak was presented to the Prophet, and he used to forbid the usage of silk by men. When the people were fascinated by the cloak, he said, "By Allah in whose hands the life of Muhammad is, the handkerchiefs of Sa'd bin Mu'adh in paradise are better than this." Volume 4, Book 54, number 472. Narrated by Al-Bara bin Azib. Allah's Apostle was given a silken garment, and its beauty and delicacy astonished the people. On that, Allah's Apostle said, "No doubt, the handkerchiefs of Sa'd bin Mu'adh in paradise are better than this." Volume 4, Book 54, number 473. Narrated by Sahl bin Sa'd al-Sa'di. Allah's Apostle said, "A place in paradise equal to the size of a lash is better than the whole world and whatever is in it." Volume 4, Book 54, number 474. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, "There is a tree in paradise, which is so big and huge that, if a rider travels in its shade for 100 years, he would not be able to cross it." Volume 4, Book 54, number 475. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "There is a tree in paradise, which is so big and huge that a rider could travel in its shade for 100 years. And if you wish, you can recite, in shade long extended, 56. 30, and a place in paradise equal to an arrow bow of one of you, is better than the whole earth, on which the sun rises and sets." Volume 4, Book 54, number 476. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "The first batch of people who will enter paradise will be glittering like the full moon, and the batch next to them will be glittering like the most brilliant star in the sky. Their hearts will be as if the heart of a single man, for they will have neither enmity nor jealousy amongst themselves. Everyone will have 2 wives from the Huris, who will be so beautiful, pure and transparent that the marrow of the bones of their legs will be seen through the bones and the flesh." Volume 4, Book 54, number 477. Narrated by Al-Bara bin Azib. The Prophet, after the death of his son Ibrahim, said, "There is a wet nurse for him, i.e. Ibrahim, in paradise." Volume 4, Book 54, number 478. Narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. The Prophet said, "The people of paradise will look at the dwellers of the lofty mansions, i.e. a superior place in paradise, in the same way as one looks at a brilliant star far away in the east or in the west on the horizon, All that is because of their superiority over one another, in rewards. On that the people said, O Allah's Apostle, are these lofty mansions for the prophets which nobody else can reach? The Prophet replied, No. By Allah in whose hands my life is, these are for the men who believed in Allah and also believed in the Apostles. Volume 4, Book 54, number 479. Narrated by Sal bin Sa'd. The Prophet said, Paradise has 8 gates, and one of them is called Ar-Rayyan, through which none will enter but those who observe fasting. The Prophet also said, if a person spends 2 different kinds of something, for Allah's cause, he will be called from the gates of paradise. Volume 4, Book 54, number 480. Narrated by Abu Dar. While the Prophet was on a journey, he said, regarding the performance of the Zuhr prayer, wait till it, i.e. the weather, gets cooler. He said the same again till the shade of the hillocks extended. Then he said, delay the Zuhr prayer till it gets cooler, for the severity of heat is from the increase in heat of hell, fire. Volume 4, Book 54, number 481. Narrated by Abu Sa'd. The Prophet said, delay the Zuhr prayer till it gets cooler, for the severity of heat is from the increase in the heat of hell, fire. Volume 4, Book 54, number 482. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Apostle said, the hell fire complained to its Lord saying, O my Lord, my different parts eat up each other. So, he allowed it to take 2 breaths, one in the winter and the other in summer, and this is the reason for the severe heat and the bitter cold you find in weather. Volume 4, Book 54, number 483. Narrated by Abu Jamra ad-Dabi. I used to sit with Ibn Abbas in Mecca. Once I had a fever and he said to me, cool your fever with Zamzam water, for Allah's Apostle said, the fever, is from the heat of the hell fire. So, cool it with water, or Zamzam water. Volume 4, Book 54, number 484. Narrated by Rafi bin Khadij. I heard the Prophet saying, fever is from the heat of the hell fire, so cool it with water. Volume 4, Book 54, number 485. Narrated by Aisha. The Prophet said, fever is from the heat of the hell fire, so cool it with water. Volume 4, Book 54, number 486. Narrated by Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, fever is from the heat of the hell fire, so abate fever with water. Volume 4, Book 54, number 487. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Apostle said, your ordinary fire is one of 70 parts of the hell fire. Someone asked, O Allah's Apostle, this ordinary fire would have been sufficient to torture the unbelievers. Allah's Apostle said, the hell fire has 69 parts more than the ordinary worldly fire. Each part is as hot as this worldly fire. Volume 4, Book 54, number 488. Narrated by Yali. That he heard the Prophet on the pulpit reciting, they will cry, O Malik. 43.77, Malik is the gatekeeper, angel, of the hell fire.